Hi everyone, this is Dave from Geekanoids.co.uk and I'm very lucky to be able to bring you my first review of the new 13-inch MacBook Pro. Now on the right hand side of the unit we have the MagSafe power connector as in the previous versions, as well as the Ethernet port. The new addition to this particular MacBook Pro is the FireWire 800 port. Here we have a mini DisplayPort connector, two USB ports, and again a new addition is the SD card reader, which reads standard SD cards and the new higher capacity SDHC cards. We also have an audio in-out port, which will take a audio input as well as obviously the output for the headphones. The very last one is a button here, which if you push shows the battery charge indicator. Around the front of the machine it's pretty clear. We have the sleep light here, which is an LED that stays on when the laptop is open and flashes when the MacBook Pro is in sleep mode. And then you have the infrared IRDA receiver. Worth noting with this laptop is you don't get the Apple remote control in the box. You have to buy that as an additional accessory. Round to the right hand side of the computer, very clean design. We've got a Kensington lock hold here for securing your laptop to a desk, and you've also got the slot for the super drive. And around the back there are no additional ports. Now before I move on to looking at the inside of the MacBook Pro, I just want to show you some of the aesthetics and design changes that were made. As you can see, it's a very clean design. And one of the major changes that was certainly introduced with the larger 17-inch MacBook Pro last time round is the base of the computer. It now has an integrated battery. You're not able to swap it out for another battery as in previous iterations of the MacBook Pro. To gain access to the computer now, you have to remove these screws around the outside of the base. This will give you access to changing out the hard drive for a larger model. It will also give you access to the memory, so you can add up to 8 GB of RAM into these latest versions of the MacBook Pro. What you can't do is you can't change the battery yourself. The battery is meant to last for 1,000 recharge cycles, and when the battery does need replacing, you will need to return it to an Apple store or an Apple authorised repair centre, and they will offer a service where they can change the battery for you. Something else I should mention whilst talking about the new integrated battery on the new MacBook Pros is that they actually increase the battery life a vast amount. My last MacBook Pro would last around about 3.5 to 4 hours for general use. This new 13-inch MacBook Pro with its integrated battery is said to last up to 7 hours. On my first charge I managed to get about 5.5 to 6 hours, but that was with quite intensive use. I was doing some installation of software as well as a lot of downloading and viewing a few videos as well. I think with general surfing and email use, I would expect to get near to that 7-hour mark, so this is a very good achievement by Apple. Going up in the range, the 15-inch version should deliver between 6 and 7 hours, and the 17-inch version between 7 and 8 hours. This is a really good achievement, and I've never actually bought an additional battery for any of my Mac laptops, so I think the lack of user accessibility to the changeable battery really isn't a problem. As with the previous versions of the MacBook and the MacBook Pro, there is no longer a mechanical latch for holding the screen closed. It's purely a magnetic latch, so opening the laptop is very easy. Let's start by concentrating on that new keyboard. The new 13-inch MacBook Pro has a backlit keyboard as standard. So if I dim the lights within the studio, you'll see that this keyboard actually lights up and gives you a really nice chiclet style keyboard that's both comfortable to use and also visible in low light. Let's pop the lights back on and we'll give you a look at the superb glossy screen This is a 13-inch screen running at 1280 by 800 resolution. And yes, the gloss is a problem for some people, but I'm sure you will agree that this particular screen is very, very vivid. It certainly is an improvement over the previous version that was on the 13-inch MacBook. Apple have stated that this gives you 60% wider colour gamut, and I can say that the colours certainly do pop more, the blacks are deeper, and it really does look like a richer screen. This particular version is the 13-inch 2.26 GHz, and that will come in at £899 in its shipping straight away. There is also a slightly faster version which gives you double the amount of memory at 4 GB and a larger 250 GB hard drive, and that's going to cost you £1,149. Another nice feature on the whole of the MacBook Pro range that also features on this 13-inch version is the really large glass trackpad. As you'll see, there are no visible buttons, and the buttons actually reside under the bottom edge of the trackpad. So when you click, the whole trackpad actually moves. It also accepts multi-touch gestures, which is a really, really nice addition. As you can see from the on-screen display, this is showing you exactly what the trackpad can take as user input. You can actually tap to click. You can use the trackpad for dragging around images. You can also assign a secondary click so that when you click on that bottom right hand corner of the trackpad, it acts as a right click. If you're using 2 fingers on the trackpad, you can scroll around an image. If you use 2 fingers separated apart and rotate, you can rotate images. And if you're familiar with the iPhone, you can pinch fingers in and out to zoom in and out of an image. You can also set screen zoom, so holding a modifier key and using the trackpad allows you to zoom in to a particular point on the screen. You can also assign a secondary tap, so that if you tap with 2 fingers on the trackpad, then that also acts as a right click. You can also swipe 3 fingers across the trackpad to move through images or to move through various pictures in other applications. With 4 fingers, you can swipe up and down for accessing expose, and you can swipe from left to right to actually switch between applications. This is a really, really nice trackpad to use, and I must say that I've been very, very impressed overall by how smoothly the 13-inch MacBook Pro can fit into my work style and into my lifestyle. It's very, very quiet to use. It's cool to the touch. Previous iterations of the MacBook and MacBook Pro would get too warm to use on your lap. Well, certainly with this version, there is no heat dissipated through the case, so it's a pleasure to use. There is a lot more to the MacBook Pro than I've covered in my review, but what I would say is Apple's inclusion of the SD card slot, the reintroduction of that FireWire port, and the superb 13-inch display really does add up to a computer that I can certainly recommend. I can use it in my everyday life, for work and for play, and it really is a pleasure to use. Thanks very much for listening. This has been my short review of the new 13-inch MacBook Pro. Come back soon and check out more reviews on geekanoids.co.uk.
This video review is sponsored by Maccast, who produce a weekly podcast that covers a diverse range of Mac news, topics and opinion. Available at maccast.com or subscribe via the iTunes Store.